This is CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer. With your host, Mr. Gameplay Goodness himself, Stevie Stroud.
What's going on, everybody? We are live. All right, and I think we are live. All right, so I think we're going to be going live in 3, 2. All right, well, we're going live. We're doing live in 3. All right, let's try this again. We'll do it live in 3, 2. All right, I believe we are live. Hello, everybody. How are you? All right, so we're going, well, we're not going live, but we're going to record in 3, 2, 1.
West Coast.
Western Oregon?
Yep.
All right, cool, cool. I couldn't find that on a map if my life depended on me, but I'm sure it's lovely there. That's awesome. So, did Alan just join us?
Looks like he's trying.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I think he did.
He has gone portrait and not landscape.
I guess we have to talk nice about him now.
It's got to be different.
Yeah. I've been listening to all of this. I've been having dinner and working on stuff.
Okay, you're excused. You're excused.
Okay.
So it's nice of you to finally join us. By the way, Alan, we didn't get to ask the question. The time with Jerry Buckner flew by so quickly, and I can't believe how nervous I was. I don't know if I came across that way, but I was really nervous. I only screwed up his name one time, but I was on pins and needles the whole time. How did you get to know Jerry Buckner, and what was your relationship that allowed us to get this interview going?
It's really funny. I don't remember what my first contact with him was, but it might have been a long time ago for the Waffle House music.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure, even if that wasn't it, it might have been after Wreck-It Ralph, and I saw their names in the credits. I probably just looked up and dropped him a note somewhere and, said, hey, how'd this happen? This was really cool. And we would just start talking about stuff.
Wow.
And it just started as a conversation, just tracking him down through his website and wrote him a letter. And one thing that I was disappointed in is he's got that new song, Old School Games, which would be a perfect 30-second or 20-second music bed intros for the retro videos. I
had it queued up, but when he gave us the 5-minute sign saying he had to go, I just but he's already written me back saying, let's do it again. So hopefully we can have a part 2.
That would be great. And I'm listening to those interviews from the special edition Pac-Man album now, and hearing
aren't they great?
That is awesome. I'd only heard a few of those stories before, and I don't know why I didn't buy that album when it came out. I don't think I was really aware of it, or was just too broke. So I'm all caught up.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't thank you enough for putting that together, because the irony was you probably emailed me about this a year ago saying, would you like to talk to Jerry Buckner of Buckner and Garcia? And I'm like, of course I would. I'd love to. And then I don't remember if I dropped the ball or we just never got a follow-up email or whatever it was. But for whatever reason, it didn't happen last year, and it did now. And I think it's probably good that it didn't happen last year, because we've had a year of doing interviews to get better at refining the process.
Well, your scenes are certainly a lot fancier today.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought into that and spent literally almost 2 straight weeks working on editing videos and doing things and coming up with ideas and transitions and stuff. So I definitely put a lot of thought and time and energy into it because I wanted this to be, I wanted what I could do to be as close to the scale of my world of what the scale of what he did is for the real world, you know. So tried to make it as good as I can make it, and hopefully I succeeded at least halfway at doing that. But it was really cool. It was really, really cool. And Curtis as well, thanks for being there with doing that. You know, I really am very grateful for everything that's come from being part of this CoCo community because, you know, if it wasn't for people watching my CoCo videos, I don't know what the hell would be happening to me on YouTube because I get like 15 views on anything that's not CoCo or retro related, but a CoCo video gets 100 views, hands down, you know? So it's like I sometimes say, why am I bothering playing a modern game? Well, it's because I like playing it, but nobody wants to watch me play the damn thing, you know? So I just have to...
There's a lot of competition for modern games, though. You're competing with tons of YouTubers.
And I don't even look at it as a competition, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. But yeah, so, you know, I kind of met Alan and Curtis and all you guys before we even started talking. You guys were like commenting on my videos before I kind of met you, and it was between like you and Alan and Ed Snyder and John Linville, all these people that I met either through my YouTube videos or through the Google Plus page, and then which got me to the Facebook page. And just starting to meet all these people, it's just been a great experience. And it's been an experience I never would imagine being able to talk to Nick Marentes or talk to John Strong or talk to, you know, Rick Adams and Dale Lear and the image producers and, you know, all these people. So it's very cool when you have somebody who's done something, but they're cool enough to want to talk to people about it, and they don't have like the you know, the big star attitude, you know, humbleness, I guess is the word you're looking for, right? So somebody who's kind of humble, to me, it makes it even more overwhelming because they have no reason to be, and when they are, it just, to me, it makes them an even larger than life person, you know.
I'm thankful that Alan Huffman finally found a podcast, even if it wasn't mine.
Yeah,
Nick, I've been playing your game on and off. I've just been busy trying to work out my little mouse adapter thing I've been tinkering with.
All right. Yeah. How far can you get?
I didn't get off of level 1, I'll say. It doesn't help when you have controllers that are on their last legs. So
yeah.
You know, level 1 is dead easy.
Yeah.
Just fly top right, and you don't even have to touch the joystick. Just come down every now and then to shoot a fuel depot, because you'll run out of fuel and fall out of the sky, of course. But if you just come down, pick up the fuel, and fly back up to the top right, that's it. You can just, you know, you don't get hit. So zone 1 is really very much a beginner's or for kids, you know. Zone 2, on the other hand, that's the hardest zone of all 5 of them, actually. So if you can get through zone 2, you shouldn't be too hard to get through the rest later on.
Bill Noble's in the chat. Bill Noble says he still hasn't beaten it yet. Hey, Bill, do you want us to bring you into the Skype call? Let us know. We can definitely bring you in, or you can just call one of us and we can add you to the call. So is like the 60 units, is that, I mean, to me, that seems, and it's an incredible game, but that just seems like a small number compared to the size of our community. There's, you know, there's like 1,400 people. Granted, everybody's not a gamer, and those who like games are not all going to like them enough to buy them. But you feel like that's a decent measuring stick for the size of our community?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. So that's hard. It's hard for me to gauge.
There may be more CoCo users out there, but active users, though, I wouldn't say there's much more than 100. You look at Facebook or the what do you call it, the news groups channel, and how many you count up how many people are actually active there, and yeah, you'd be flat strapped trying to find 100.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I think you'd find 100, more than 100, but we've got that divided community. We've got the RS-DOS game playing side, and then we've got the hardcore OS9 side that don't touch games. And I think, the markets are almost exclusive.
You do have that. Having said that, I have sold to quite a few people who are OS9ers, who probably never play games, but they just support the efforts of another CoCo user. So that's good as well. I'm surprised. I look at some of the sales I made. I said, why is he buying it? But and that's good. That's a healthy community, and it helps that I kept the game fairly low cost, of course, as well. I didn't want to charge any more than $25 US. I thought that's a cutoff. So it was good there. But yeah, a lot of the users do support a person who does put the effort in, which is good.
I think this is a great segue right now to bring up the CoCo map.
Yeah, because I was happy you took over.
Because here it is.
About motivation, I have lost my motivations on the way. I could still manage the map, but I mean, I entered more than 200 of these dots.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I'm happy you entered the 15 next.
Yeah. So, and I have more to do. I have more people to respond to. But so this is
piling up. It's piling up, and at some point they're gonna get like a bit impatient.
I think the backlog right now is only 2 or 3 people. I'll get to them today. So, so this is
what happened? What happened in that?
So this is a map that Hugo started, and he shared it with us on Facebook, and I think it also got shared out on the mailing list. And earlier this week, there was about 215 people on here. Now there's like over 250, right? So, and this is people around the world who own color computers who have at least told us where they live. We're not asking you for your home address, just like your, city, state, and zip code. And and you can see we have a very good concentration in North America. We've got a pretty good representation down here in South America, even in Mexico. Alex was here earlier, and Alex was the guy I added from Mexico. So we have Colombia. Here's Mexico over here. So South America is looking pretty good. We've got a nice European collection here. We have Austria even, which is kind of new. Switzerland is here representing, right? What is wrong with Francais right now? Why is there no Viva la Francais?
The French were very fond of other 8-bit computers. I can't remember which ones, but some of the 8-bit platforms were extremely popular there, to the point that there was no market for other computers such as the CoCo. I could do some research. I have a few friends in France, and I could ask them actually. But that's an interesting, observation. And by the way, if people want to organize an event, they can actually see where's the.
Yeah, we have like VCF.
A nice spot to organize it. For example, if you organize something in Brussels. You're going to have people coming from Denmark and the UK without any trouble. I mean, the distances are quite short. Now, in North America, you would organize something in Columbus, for example. You'd get all of the Northeast and maybe even Stevie if you want to hit the road.
That's been my dream, to be a traveling. I want to hit every retro show there is around the world, at some point in time. So I need to get a few more, couple 100 million subscribers on my YouTube channel to help fund this.
My next challenge is to drive to Ohio.
For the Tandy Assembly.
Yeah.
So so this map is neat. So you can this map. There's a link to this map on my YouTube, Facebook, my website, whatever. Yeah, it's on my website, imacoconut.com. And you can email me or Hugo or leave a comment on the mailing list, and we'll try to get you in there. All right, we are going live, everybody. Hello, welcome to the program. I am the original gamer, Stevie Stroh, and I'm very pleased to be sharing with you the screen and the mind and the talent of Tim Lindner, who's with us. Hello, Tim. How are you?
Very good, Steve. Good to be here.
And it's great to have you here. It's great to have up what's on our screen, what we have here. So I'll just kick it off real quick by explaining what we're going to talk about. I'm going to introduce you. I would love for you to give us a little short backstory on all the cool things you've done with the color computer leading up to what we're going to talk about today, which is the speech sound pack. So everybody, this is Tim Lindner, and we're going to talk about the speech sound pack that is now emulated in MAME, so you can play it at home and not have to have the real hardware. And you know, it's nothing short of an amazing achievement.
But throughout all these years, I've always loved the little speech sound pack and speech sound cartridge, and have always wanted to emulate it. So I've been gathering information all this time, and just a couple weeks ago, finally finished it up and pushed it out.
And I can't thank you enough for doing that. And I was a huge fan of this. I have now 2 of them that I've been able to get off of eBay, and they both work. And it's a great thing. It brought something to our color computer that it didn't have, which was real music, which we didn't have a music synthesizer, so to speak. So 3 voice music, a channel of sound and white noise, and then the bonus. You may look at it as bonus, as having, as John Laurie in the live chat now says, it says now the CoCo can do a spot-on Stephen Hawking impression emulated. So it is a voice synthesizer, which was a big thing in the 80s, and I find it sometimes a little bit annoying now hearing the voice, but I love hearing the music. And it's something that not everybody could have because it was expensive to own. It required a multi-pack interface as well. And probably for some of those same reasons, it wasn't as heavily developed for. And I don't think it saw the full potential of what it could have had. But it's a great piece of our history. On that note, why don't we take a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back with our main segment of the show, people.
Greetings, YouTubers. Atari Leaf here, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Original Gamer Stevie Stroh, and welcome to a brand new segment of the show that we call the Pandering segment. And this is where we ask you to help support our efforts by checking out our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com, where you can grab yourself a coffee mug like this, or maybe like this, or maybe one of the even cool new deluxe travel mugs, possibly even a DVD featuring some gameplay goodness. All of the proceeds that we get from the Retro Swag Shop go right back into the production and hosting costs of the show, as well as compensating the artist Joel Adams, who designs all these cool things for us. So consider supporting our endeavors by picking yourself up a piece of merchandise from 8bit256.com. On top of that, if you'd really like to help out the show on a long-term basis, we've got a brand new Patreon site where you can support us with regular contributions, and you can visit us there at patreon.com/OGStevieStroh. However, we'll keep it real simple. Visit us on the web at CoCoTalk.live, and you can get all the information there. And while you're there, why not send us an email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live. We'd love to hear some feedback from you, some suggestions for future show ideas and topics, and maybe even submit a segment or bumper yourself. The show wouldn't be anything without you, and we appreciate all of your support.
Hey guys, this is Bruce Moore, author of Forest of Doom, and we Canadians have already had our Thanksgiving, but that doesn't mean we can't continue to be thankful. I'm very thankful for the CoCo community in particular. And you know, there's something else too. About 3 years ago, I started something which I call a gratitude journal. There's with so much negativity going on in the world, and it seeps into us, and you can end up looking at just all the negative stuff. And so 3 years ago when I started this journal, I started writing in it practically daily, and would you believe, today I filled it. This right here, this hardcover thing here, has a total of 3,827 things for which I have said I am grateful over the last 3 years. And I gotta tell you, if I'm ever feeling blue or getting down about anything really, I could open this up, take a read, and it helps change my perspective from negativity towards thankfulness and gratitude.
What's going on, everybody? The Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and I want to talk to you about I'mACoconut.com. If you love the color computer like I love the color computer, then you got to visit I'mACoconut.com, your one-stop shop for all of your Tandy color computer links needs. There you'll find links to blogs and podcasts and project sites and emulators and downloads and groups and communities. If you love the color computer, head on over to I'mACoconut.com. That's I-M-A, Coconut.com. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you. CoCo forever, people.
Alright, so I'm doing my Thanksgiving time at night. Well, that makes me a computer geek, doesn't it? Tell me I'm not the only computer geek out there that thinks that they people ought to be illegal. What am I thankful for? I'm thankful that growing up I had Rainbow Magazine and the CoCo community to give me a sense of belonging and purpose, to give me a direction in my life at that time.
G'day, mates. This is Nick Marionettes, author of such color computer titles as Donut Disaster, Rupert Rhymes, and Rockstar Pilot. And I am here today to tell you about the world's most fabulous operating system, OS 9. OS 9 and its current incarnation, Nitrous 9, is the most advanced operating system ever created. And what makes it so good? Ease of use. I find OS 9 so incredibly intuitive that I haven't once cracked open the user manual, and yet I've been able to create such incredible games faster than the time it takes to sing Waltzing Matilda. Using OS 9, I expect my next game, Funstar, will be done this weekend and distributed exclusively on ROM cartridge. OS 9 forever.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
Okay, I see us.
A lot better.
Yeah, a lot less laggy.
Yep.
And what we have up here on the screen, does anybody know how to pronounce this game? Because I'm not sure that I will. What is it called?
Yeah.
Kiroku Nashina or something like that?
Where's Rick Adams when you need him?
I pronounce it Cersei's Island.
Okay, Cersei's
Yeah, I like
Island.
that.
There you go. The American version of this. So you have the floor. Why
Have
not?
the floor?
You have the floor.
Okay, can I do a little screen share with you then?
Sure, share away.
Okay, let me see if I can make this work here. Okay, there we go. You see that all right?
Well, I'm
Is it
waiting.
coming through?
It's loading.
There we go. Oh, look at this. Okay, so I have a picture of Paul Fiscarelli, Fiscap,
Yep.
holding up the book. Okay, so that's Paul.
That's Paul. He's got the book and he solved it.
He solved it.
The guy's a machine.
Yeah.
He's not just a machine though. He's got a bit of luck on his side because I'll just stop sharing here now, and we'll kind of talk about what. So what I didn't anticipate with this whole retro sell the book, get the game thing was the widely varying shipping times. Incredibly crazy, weird shipping times. Some guys ordering on the same day, and the book being printed right in Paul's case, printed 100 miles from him.
Mm-hmm.
And in somebody else's case, it being printed like in another country and having to cross the border.
Wow.
Ordered on the same day. And so it's so Paul had he's got a legit win, but it's kind of sad that some people who ordered the book even on the same day as him haven't even got it yet.
Yeah.
And so so what I thought we would do, and I talked over this, got some advice from some of you fine people here, is to run a second contest.
Okay.
Where basically give everybody a chance to get a hold of the thing, and play for a little while, and then everybody who wins will by a certain length of time, and sends me proof of winning. We throw all their names into a hat.
Okay.
And there'll be another special prize.
Okay.
Yeah, a special prize.
Okay.
And I was thinking maybe something like get your guys' feedback on this, but I'm thinking maybe mid-December maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we could do a live if you're actually streaming live. We could do it like on the air.
Yes, we pick
like a
the
Jacob
winner.
to pull the name out of the hat.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I propose we offer David Ladd as a prize.
Oh God, no!
No, you want people to play the game, Steve. So.
No. Where would I put him?
Hopefully you've got some decent lawyers that are smart enough to find a solution, because I know that one is out there somewhere.
Well, let's put it this way. I married a lawyer, too.
So hopefully you get a discount at least, right?
But she does government law. But I'll tell you one thing. You do something in regards to government related, you don't want to be against her. You do not. Oh.
Do you consider the MC10 part of the CoCo, I don't know, family?
No. You're taking a step backwards with the MC10. Yeah. See, it was pretty much when the CoCo 3 came out, I go, what's a CoCo 1?
Yep.
Yeah, it was just like, don't look back. And I could never understand when Tandy came out with that little MC10. I'm going, why are you doing this? And part of the idea was, well, we want to come out with a cheaper computer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it didn't work out very well, right? Because they only was in the market for, a year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to compete with the Sinclair's ZX8081.
It was a Sinclair
But
clone.
there is a little following for the little orphan computer, and it doesn't get a lot of love, so maybe you want to give it a little bit of love and pick one up.
Yeah, and those come up fairly regularly. I've gotten a few in the box for about $40 with all of the books and cables and accessories. So keep your eye out for one of those. Again, would I ever want to use it? I would never want to use it, but I'm glad I've got a couple. They're just on the shelf.
And of course, if you want software for it, Jim Gary brings one out about every second.
Yeah. Now, I also what I also purchased that I've never used is I have the MCX extender, which is it adds 128K of RAM. It adds the ability to connect to their version of DriveWire. I forgot what the name of that is, but it's another Ed Snyder. We're talking about hardware, new hardware. It's one of the Ed Snyder projects, but Ed Snyder actually made a better version of that also supported like sound chips and joystick adapters and a bunch of other stuff too.
Well, here's the thing I don't get. Everybody's into sticking the 6309 into the CoCo and like that. Hasn't somebody actually made a kit for that machine to put a 6809 in there, a real processor, not that 6800 derivative?
Steve, I really at some point would like to get an honest, transparent opinion from you about the MC10, because I'm really having a hard time getting kind of the real gist of how do you feel about the machine.
I think for the remainder of this show, if you guys are going to be calling me by name, just call me OG. So when you guys mention Steve, we'll be referring to Mr. Bjork. So there's no confusion.
The thing is, I had worked on 6800 computers before and moved on to things like Z80s where I had lots of registers. And then the 6809 came out going, oh, they finally got it right. And of course, the 68000, they definitely got it right. But anything that's derivative of 6800, even the guys that worked on it, some of them went off and made the 6502. Of course, those guys were nuts to begin with.
Did anyone?
But they sold a lot of them.
Yeah, because it was cheap.
Repeat the question, Ron.
Did anyone see the Pac-Man play on the MC10? I think it's on the MC10 site. There's a little Pac-Man game that runs pretty well. It's like kind of surprising. Did you see the video?
I have seen that one, yes.
I think it's a port from a CoCo one too.
Well, I was surprised to see anything like that on MC10.
Yeah, but we can't talk about it while Steve's here. Okay, so we'll wait for him to leave, and then we can sing the praises of the 6800 derivative machine, the little baby machine that just doesn't get enough love.
It doesn't get any love.
Didn't Rainbow call it the Poco at some point? Wasn't that their nickname?
The poor man's CoCo.
I still remember Tandy calling me up and asking me if I wanted to develop for it. And there was a long pause and the only thing I said, you got to be kidding.
Obviously not.
Who knows, Steve? You might have actually broken it. If you would have actually made some games, it might have sold better.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Show the video, Steve.
If he did, he might end up looking like David Ladd. He would have pulled all his hair out. So
that's true.
Hey! I resemble that remark.
Yeah. Plus, there's a pretty small market, so I don't know if Steve would have been too interested in that.
Yeah. Well, it's like the Atari 2600. That was a nightmare system to program, and I do know somebody that worked on it and literally went crazy afterwards.
Wow.
He was working with me at Datasoft, and we had to keep, while he was in the room, we had to keep the doors open because fireballs chased him, and he has to have an exit.
Wow.
Talk about.
I guess the thing is, I mean, you're right. At the time it was released, it was already going backwards from what the CoCo was. I mean, it was cheaper, but whatever. But on the other hand, I think in the retro community, there's a lot of the challenge of taking these old machines that had very limited hardware, CoCo being a good example, and seeing how far you can push it. And I think maybe that's part of the challenge nowadays, where I think there's a bit more of a renaissance of some of these machines that back then, people would just went, well, what's the point?
Yeah. Well, I see some of the people on there, they're playing with ideas, they're trying this stuff, and they go, yes, I'm the first one to do this. I'm going, this generation, but 30 years ago, other people were doing it, and they realized it wasn't any good.
All right, so we're going to do the professional introduction here with Ron's Garage. Hold on just a second here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Ron's Garage with a peek into the past, featuring the retro computing collection of Ron Delvaux. Take it away, Ron.
All right, I'd like to dedicate this to Steve Bjork. It's basically
okay.
MC10.
Oh, you.
I think Ron needs the same internet upgrade you got.
Yes,
Steve.
yes.
When I got mine,
Ron inherited my internet bug. A little bit, yeah. Okay, there it is. MC10 sealed in plastic. Look at that. That is gorgeous.
Man.
It's gorgeous. The anticipation is killing me.
It should be left in the plastic.
and encased in concrete? Like a big block?
I don't know, Steve. Don't they make good door stops?
That's what I'm saying. You keep it in the plastic, it doesn't get dirty, and it holds the door better.
You can also use it as a paperweight on your desk, because of those wicked windstorms that always pop up in your office.
Actually, I think the Timex Sinclair makes a better doorstop because of the wedge shape, but that'd make a good paperweight.
Yeah, the big innovation on the MC10 was bringing back the keyboard overlay for the keys to do something different than what they were intended to do, like the old CoCo 1 chiclet keyboards.
Yeah, or the Commodore PET, which I think had the same scheme with your graphic characters and stuff.
Right.
This is 8 volts, and this is what you don't get when you buy one on the internet, because they usually don't come with one of these, probably. People forget. And then,
what's the significance of the 8 volts on that? Is that what the normal input was for the computer?
Yep, 8 volts, 1.5 amps.
No.
And this is the most ugly thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I hate
the old RF switch box. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Made by
that's
the thousands.
Yep, something you hooked up on the back. And then I've got one of these.
Ah, the original Tandy 16K RAM module upgrade for the MC10. Very nice.
Yeah.
Which ironically, Radio
Brand
Shack
new.
themselves, I think, only sold one program that used it.
So that would bring it from what was the MC10 come stock
4K.
with? 4K. So this brought it up to 20K.
Yeah.
And if I recall from a tech segment on the CoCo Crew podcast, that RAM was not addressable for video memory, so you couldn't get any more advanced graphics modes.
That's
out of
correct.
that.
Your 4K that you originally had was all you could use for video RAMs. You couldn't, even though the VDG supported high-res modes like PMOD 3 and 4, you could not use them.
You had to have a screwdriver because you can't plug it in right away. You have to remove the panel.
Yeah, that's what she said.
That keyboard looks terrible.
Yeah, it's, the only thing.
No friends.
It's better than the Sinclair ZX8081 RAM tone, as I used to call it, which is that flat plastic Atari 400 style.
Kind of the membrane, yeah. So I guess the one good thing is that the MC10 made the silver CoCo chiclet keyboard seem better.
Yeah, there you go.
By comparison.
And if you do need software for an MC10, just go to Jim Gary. He's written hundreds of programs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I can remember having to write code on an CoCo 1 keyboard, but trying to henpick on that small little keyboard for an MC10, it's just like everything was going the wrong direction with Tandy when they came out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like trying to type on the regular chiclet keyboard with oven mitts on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's impressive how nice and clean that is, all still in the plastic there, Ron.
Well, it was.
How much did it
really
sell
did.
for?
It smelled.
How much was it?
Just like that.
Oh no, we had two people talking at once.
How
Thank
much
you.
was it back in the day?
Show.
I think it was $100, Nick.
Right.
99.
It was originally a $149 when it was first released, and then they dropped it to $119. Then it went to $99, went to $79, and then the final price was $39, and they still couldn't get rid of them.
Wow.
In fact, they ran a promotion, a very short-lived one. If you bought a Xenix system, they would give you a free MC10 for the kids to play with, and a lot of people didn't even want it.
Wow.
I think that's because Steve Bjork bought up the entire supply. So,
well, what happened, and I wish I could find the memo, but I was in San Antonio at the time. I was at a repair center, and a memo came out to all the computer stores. A memo for they were supposed to get all their MC10 stock, what they had, including the module, the 16K module, and they had to ship them to Harlingen, Texas, all of them. And then they filled out what they call an interstore stock transfer, ICST, and ship them all there. It was the computer store on, I believe it was on Sunset Road on Highway 77. And that was the last we heard of them. But I don't know if that was company-wide or it was just our region, but it was kind of strange. I thought they were trying to pull some kind of Atari type thing where they were trying to just get rid of them and bury them in the desert somewhere.
I was just going to ask if it was a big landfill in that area or something.
Well, our biggest our guess was maybe somebody in Mexico wanted them and they just shipped them there so they can pick them up or something. But that was the last we saw of the MC10, at least in the Tandy stores in our area.
I do have a question. If Simon's still on the call, I don't know if he is at the moment. But does anybody know, was MC10 ever sold in Europe and in the UK?
It was sold in Australia.
Simon's there.
What was that, Nick?
In Australia, we they sold them.
Oh, so there was a PAL version of the MC10?
Yeah, I've got one.
Oh, okay.
There's also the French clone of this that's called the Alice, which is red, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, Ron, you put up a few pictures of the different variations of the MC10 in your on one of your Facebook groups, right?
Say it again.
Didn't you put up a couple of variation photos of the different MC10 models in one of your Facebook groups?
Yeah, and some of them had different keyboard layouts.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting to look at.
Yeah,
I got it off the internet.
So, yeah, I think we talked about this a week or so ago when we said, you know, if you're going to collect things, what are some of the unicorns or what's something you might want to have in your collection? And, I mean, this is a relative of the CoCo. It's made by Radio Shack. It's got a similar chip. It's, you know, it's one of those relatives that maybe you don't see all the time, but you know.
Well, it's one of those relatives it's just hate.
It's like the fruitcake you get at Christmas,
and you forward it to the next family member for the next Christmas.
There you go.
Actually, there is another reason why I hate this machine. It killed the deluxe color computer. One of the problems that they had in bringing out the deluxe color computer was the fact that they were running out of 6847s. What did they use in the this guy?
6847.
There, and basically that was part of the problem. There was a 6847 shortage as far as Tandy was concerned, and they could, you know, that's why they cut the deluxe color computer, because they had this other project that was cheaper that would sell a lot.
I saw how that worked out, right?
This would have been a great computer if it was released back in 1980, 1981, you know, to compete with the Sinclair. And if they had sold it, it started out at $125, something like that, they would have, they couldn't have kept it on the shelf, but it was 2 years too late, you know, when it was released in 83, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Darren Atkinson make some enhancement or add-on to it that really made it more powerful?
It's called an MC server, which is like DriveWire for the MC10. And if you have the memory expander board, which Ed Snyder is producing, which it lets you communicate with that MC server, and so that gives you like DriveWire like capability.
Did it also add joysticks and stuff too? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was his second generation one. The first one was just the MCX 128, and so it added more RAM, 128K RAM, and the MC server. I don't remember all the details, but that first one did not add sound or joystick port. He created a second generation of that board that had some other add-ons to it. Now all of that is emulated in CoCoPi as well. So you can run the MC server on your CoCoPi just like you can run a DriveWire server. You can also run an MC10 emulator on the CoCoPi. And all of Jim Gary's software libraries up to now, you know, he just released 45 new ones this week, which were all on the CoCo Crew podcast. But Ron Klein has been updating CoCoPi with the Jim Gary MC10 software library, so you can experience the MC10 on a better keyboard. And I like the fact that just like somebody could look in at us and say, why are we so passionate about the CoCo compared to other 8-bit machines and compared to modern machines? We can look at the MC10 and say, why would anybody want to use that piece of crap? But I respect the fact that Jim Gary is one of the people who's just so dedicated to that machine and just cranks out so much software. The software he does and the time and energy he spends on it are commendable and admirable, you know. We are joined by Bruce Moore, author of Forest of Doom, and here you go for the second time, the world premiere of the Forest of Doom teaser trailer. Here we go.
Are you ready? For the Forest of Doom.
Can't take ourselves too seriously.
November 2017.
Those all actual CoCo 1-2 graphics too, right?
Yeah.
Of course. BDG mode.
Yeah. Actually, those pictures are all out of this here.
Oh, wow.
This
so you're...
is, the holder right, can you see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the strategy guide. I think this is what I'm basically going to release, I think.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even know you had that for it.
Yeah, well, that's what the image are. The images are all from this book I just put together. I just got the proof copy. So
nice.
What's the URL? Take my money.
Yeah. Hang on that. Yeah.
This feud between the king and his half-brother, the wizard, has been going on for long before I was around. Presently, the king's scepter has been in the wizard's grasp for over 50 years, and his highness has worked himself into a royal frenzy. At first, he managed to get volunteers to deliver the ransom, promising them great wealth and even a promotion to royal office, but none of them succeeded. I don't know why I decided to go to the public market that day, but there I was, minding my own business, when with a fanfare of trumpets the king arrived, casting his baleful eye about the masses. He fixed his eye on me this time, and now I find myself another unwilling adventurer in the forest of doom. Hey! Oh my word. There's nothing for it now, lad. It's do or die.
Are you ready?
And then ended up in the local newspaper, where you can see my lovely CoCo 2 and the wooden monitor stand I built for my little TV.
You see all
I
the
think
cords.
you mentioned you got an article of Steve Wozniak up in the corner too.
Yeah, that's Steve Wozniak up on the wall looking down on me there. Giving me inspiration or something. I don't know. I know he was Apple, but always wanted an Apple, but this CoCo thing was pretty good.
I mean, you got to think about it. It's kind of cool to be written up in your local paper for doing something, and not everybody was able to achieve that. So that's a pretty cool achievement, especially at 16 years old,
Yeah, well, and it's as cool as that all was. This then our local access television, whatever it was, they had some little blurb. And they got it all wrong. Bruce Moore. Now get this. Bruce Moore wrote and sold a program on his color Commodore. They said
color Commodore. Huh?
And I was so offended.
As you should be.
That wasn't a Commodore. That was a Tandy. Well, anyway,
I would have burned the newspaper place to the ground. For that one, so.
Color Commodore.
Yeah. So
it's been great. Watching this story unfold, and it's been great to see you complete the project, and now we are able to enjoy the fruits of those labors. And I want to thank you for letting us, kind of launch it here on CoCoTALK.
Oh yeah, it's been. I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. This has been an awful lot of fun, and I want to hear from guys. When the books start coming in, they start playing. I want to hear what happens to you guys.
How many orders? How many orders do you have so far?
Yeah. Actually, that was a question I had for you, Bruce. Overnight here, how many do you know of?
Oh, well, there were 15 yesterday. I'm not sure what it is today. It could have gone up yet again today. I had an email from somebody. He's like, so do I have to wait for the book to download it? It's like, yeah, you do.
Nah.
This is very retro. Old days.
Yeah, you gotta wait snail mail, just like.
Now, if it was even more retro, you would set up like a 1-900 number, like Sierra did, where you could call for hints.
Or sell a separate hint book afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what you're getting with the book, right?
Yeah, it is a strategy guide. Yeah.
Yeah. And even a cheat. There's even a cheat in there, and you're allowed to use the cheat to win the game. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It's all good.
Very
I look
cool.
forward to seeing who's going to win it first.
Unfortunately, that might be somewhat dependent on the speed of mail to different people. So
yeah.
Nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, I guess there'll be some variability there, but if there's a will, there's a way. Like, if someone's willing to just start playing and not stop until they get it.
Yeah. I might do that. I might do that tonight.
What if someone's prepared to look at the basic code and cheat?
Well, I'm really hoping that no one's going to cheat.
Curtis. But I mean, hoping there's some integrity there.
I'm not handing it to people on the silver platter because it's not like the win screen is sitting on the disc, called win screen, and it's not like it's you can just load it up and look at it. And I did put a couple of little safeguards in there just for the occasional. I mean, yeah, anybody who really knows what they're doing could hack it, but why don't you just play the game? It's more fun.
Yeah, it's more fun that way.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
After I went and I start porting it, then I'll start screwing around the source. But
okay.
For anybody who hacks the game, we have a mug for them that says "I'm a douche." I just sent them a douche bottle, an empty douche bottle. Here you go, you douche. No mug for you, but here's your summer's eve.
I hope you're bulk ordering those, Steve.
What's the matter, Bruce?
Oh, I'm just no, nothing's the matter. I'm just realizing this isn't live. I'm sure many of these comments.
No, that's got to stay in. That's got to stay in. That's not quite as it's not quite as good as the rainbow flag one, but it's okay.
That's an incentive itself. I want to get a douche mug.
I'm going to put this up on my mental. Look how many douche awards I've won this week.
Oh my goodness!
How many are you getting? Don't worry, pass. David. How many are you getting, David?
Nick, that's just wrong.
Fred.
All right. Well, on that note,
are we done?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to top the douche comment there. So I think we're good. Anybody have anything legitimate they want to say to Bruce before we wrap this up?
Well, thanks for the game. Thanks for the excellent production value on the videos. I really do think that you could help some other people, make arrangements, whatever, to do that for some other game releases that are coming up the next year or two. I do want to port it to Nitrous 9 eventually, but I'll wait until people have won it and played through, because I don't know if I'd charge for that at that point. But maybe if you tell me who's legitimately had it, we can send them a copy, and if somebody wants to get it just for Nitrous 9 or OS 9. They can pay for the book and do the whole thing again. So I'll let you decide all that stuff.
Oh, okay, sure. That's cool. It's all cool.
I think it's great we're seeing people actually going to the effort of not only writing the game, but also going to all the effort of marketing it the way you've done and created a nice book and everything. It's like it gives the market a bit of professionalism as well. So I think that's really good.
Like what I really found interesting about the marketing, like I know Nick's done pretty good marketing, and as far as manuals and stuff like that, I mean John Strong and John Linville and the rest have also done very good. But they've basically stopped at what retro was. I mean, they stopped at what we would have done in the 80s. I mean, color, the more expensive companies like Atomic stuff would give you color manuals on occasion and stuff. But you've actually taken a whole level further with these movie trailers and stuff like that. I mean, nobody did that back in the day because it wasn't even possible unless you had a $50,000 studio or something. So you're escalating it to the next level, which is good.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting in a movie. I was at a movie a little while ago, and I'm sitting there, and these trailers come up, and as they're coming by, I was like, wait a second. That's what I should do for this game, because you can make this great game, but if people don't hear about it, like you got to somehow get people to hear about it, right? I want people to play the game, so why not and have a lot of fun with it, doing all those funny voices and
yeah. Right. Well, just the fact, I mean, we did a preview kind of semi in private last night, and how many copies you sold based on both the interview with you, your little presentation, and the fact that we've seen these trailers, coming, multiple ones over the last few months here. I think it proves that promotion is working.
Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, that's great. And we'll just see. Maybe when this hits the airwaves, maybe a few more will come in, and we'll see what happens. I think I've broken even now, so I think we're just good to go after that. So
I really think you should help Nick Marionettes with his Fun Star project.
That's not done yet?
The game's done, but there's no movie trailer stuff done yet, so we just have to wait for that.
Yeah, right. Oh, well, we should get him to give me a ring. We'll see what we can do.
Yep, and then we'll play the Waltzing Matilda MP3 into the background while you're playing that one. So.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap this up. And Bruce, once again, thank you. Thank you for what you've done for us, for the community.
Oh, thank you.
I also want to say on my own note, I've got a lot of projects that I want to do. It's one thing to want to do them. It's another thing to actually stick to it and complete them and deliver them. So I want to give you a special bravo for that, because, managing our time and our priorities and our our various distractions in life, but staying focused. And I remember there's plenty of times where we were like, hey, you want to do something? You're like, nope, I got to go play Forest. I've got to work on Forest of Doom, So when the kids were playing, you were home working on your project, doing your homework, So.
And I always thought he was just being a snob. But, I was wrong.
So that dedication just shows of your character too, and you delivered. That's the hardest thing, is to deliver,
Yeah, that is, but I got to give credit back to you guys, because I really wouldn't have gone for this if it wasn't for CoCoTALK and CoCo Fest and the CoCo crew, creating a space for this to happen. It really fired me up. I mean, I wouldn't have done it otherwise. It's just like, no, go for it. Go for it. And
yep.
And I've gone for it, and hopefully some more people go for it. Let's see some more stuff.
That's the bulk of it. Now, we also got Nick's reaction to Bruce's commercial. You guys want to see that?
Yes.
When he saw the commercial for the first time last night. All right. So we're going to scrub forward a little bit to get to that part. Okay, we're going to back it up just a bit. So this was me kind of screen sharing and showing him the commercial last night, because we weren't sure if he was going to make the call today. Okay, here we go. Let me know if you need to plug your speakers back in or whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I've got them plugged in. Yep.
Okay. So let me know if you can see my screen.
I can see your screen. I'll just tell my brother-in-law and explain to him, first of all, the concept behind this first.
Okay.
There's a guy who made a video. He's going to present it tomorrow at the festival. I'm well known in the colour computer community for being anti-OS 9. I'm always the one saying that's crap. And someone's made a comedy skit about it. So have a look. He's showing it to me now, because I won't be available to it tomorrow. All right, I think we're ready to rock and roll.
All right, you ready? You can see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it. It's the electronic wombat.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Quite yours.
Here we go. Can you hear it?
Good day, mates. This is Nick Marionettes, author of such colour computer titles as Donut Disaster, Rupert Rhymes, and Rockstar Pilot. And I am here today to tell you about the world's most fabulous operating system, OS 9. OS 9 and its current incarnation, Nitrous 9, is the most advanced operating system ever created. And what makes it so good? Ease of use. I find OS 9 so incredibly intuitive that I haven't once cracked open the user manual. And yet I've been able to create such incredible games faster than the time it takes to sing Waltzing Matilda. Using OS 9, I expect my next game, Fun Star, will be done this weekend and distributed exclusively on ROM cartridge. OS 9 forever.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
Oh my God!
I got a question about these bombs that they're supposed to set off that cause everything to not work anymore. What
EMP.
exactly? How does that work?
Electromagnetic pulse?
Yeah, how does that work? How does it render them useless?
Have we just gone into military talk?
Does it
I don't
fry
know.
a chip? Or
It
what?
it fries the chips because it puts on greater voltage than what they're able to expect. The circuit paths on the circuit board work as they pick up the magnetic wave, and that converts into electricity, and that blows it out. Now, the color computer would probably survive better than your PC.
Do they have
systems
on?
Do they have to be on for the pulse to do its damage? So if
No.
the computer's turned
No.
off, will it still do it?
No. It's just that if it's on, it's going to disrupt itself very quickly. But if it's off, it's still going to get damaged.
Wow.
So, Ron,
Is that what happens?
yeah.
Did he,
Hey,
did he
Ron.
just have an EMP?
I saw the screens flicker behind him there. So
That was not me. Sorry.
well, the
That
pulse
was
made
the
its way
dog.
through. The pulse made its way through Skype.
Okay, Steve, you're going to have to filter that one out.
Oh, this is great radio right here.
We can smell that up here in Canada.
It's a beauty, eh?
Seriously, with all that methane that's now in the garage, you really need some sort of fire system in there just to keep the place from burning down. Because one small spark, it's all gone.
1.21 gigawatts.
That's for the fan.
Yeah, right? It's going to need more than 5 volts on that one there. So separate power supply or bolt of lightning not included.
Enough power for the fan so that I actually can launch the CoCo right off your desk. Become a drone.
Hey, I want to get one of those propeller hats that Grant's wearing.
Yeah.
That's got its own separate power supply, I take it too, right?
He's got a fancy one. It's even variable speed.
Oh man! So I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to Nick Marionette's take on the ease of use Nitrous 9 distribution as well. Is Nick Marionette's with us today?
Well, I can be his alter ego today. Yes.
All right, so we're here. We are here with David Ladd. We are here with Grant Leety. We are here with Nick Marentes, and we are here with Wayne Campbell. And this is CoCoTALK After Dark.
Oh, God.
And the question was, what are we going to talk about? And that's always the question. And when has that ever stopped us before? So, what is somebody saying over here? We are here. I did. I answered the phone. I answered it, Rick. We are.
He's
on
in the
Skype.
call.
Well, his face is in the call.
Rick Adams right there.
His face is in the call, but he's not. He's sending a text saying that I didn't want him. It was David Ladd we didn't want.
Ass hat.
Hey Jim, can I ask you a hardware development question?
Sure.
Kind of gets back into some of the stuff we were talking about earlier today, where, and since this is CoCo After Dark, maybe I'll censor this later, but there is the old saying of wish in one hand and shit in the other, and see which one fills up first, and when it comes to, you have the guy who's making the hardware, so there's the scientist working in the laboratory making the invention. And then you've got all these armchair quarterbacks that start saying, well, it'd be really neat if it could do this and if it could do that, And you've even said
tell me about it.
To some degree, Barry Nelson had done some of that with you, and it turned out it was for the, it was good in the end, but obviously it was frustrating to keep redesigning. But since you're kind of doing that, I mean, how much do you see of that being, maybe from your own experiences, maybe being a pain in the ass, and we're talking about the community and these different projects and competition, and everybody's thinking what's right. At the end of the day, it's like the people who are making the crap, it's really their call, right?
That's true. That's true. I would say I think it depends largely, how much of a pain it is depends largely on how they message, right? Yeah. So if somebody comes and says, hey, not sure if you have an interest in doing this or whatever, but this situation could exist and this enhancement could be valuable in the following way, and they've kind of thought it through, like the reason that the Barry's idea made sense, even though it was a little bit of a bother to put it in, is he said, listen, the Orchestra 90 is something that not very many people have. I think having it in a cartridge, if you could put it in there cheaply, could open up an opportunity for people to experiment with that and maybe even use it or whatnot. It might help people to develop more games. The primary focus for your CoCo Flash unit is probably game development, so it seems like it would be a better than average idea to put into the mix. And so I kind of chalked that away by saying that's a whole nother cartridge, and so I don't know that I want to try and figure out how to put a whole nother cartridge in. But then the idea intrigues you, and so you go look and you go see what the schematic looks like, and then you realize that it's an extremely simple cartridge. In fact, I was so surprised that it's such a huge cartridge because there's basically nothing in it, right? I mean, there's nothing in it. So, so then it becomes for another $1 or $2 or whatever, I could probably squeeze this in, and then it becomes more of a there's a logistical challenge or whatever. There's some uniqueness or intriguing part of it, and so you go ahead and do it. But on the other hand, having somebody come in and they haven't really thought about it that much, and they make their statements more like a demand, like, I'm not really interested in your cartridge unless it has, full VGA capability and, blah, 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 whatever, right? Or if it's a sound cartridge, it's like, well, I'm not really interested in your cartridge unless it's got 20 channels of FM synthesis and a 6 meg buffer for samples, right? And it's like, okay, well, you know what? Buy PC, right? I mean, I'm never going to be able to satisfy your requirements, so just go away.
Right.
It's very hard to. It is. It's really hard to not smack those people around when they come to you.
Oh, it gets worse than that. Hey, buddy, if you don't add feature XYZ, this thing is garbage to me. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get right on that, pal.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. Sometimes I think, first of all, there are a couple people that I probably know in the global retro computing community that could come up to me in my table and say something like that, and I would instantly recognize their voice, and I would know they're just giving me crap, right? And so I would just smile, and we'd just shoot the breeze. Oh yeah, I guess I better put a super cooled processor on it too, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But everybody else, I don't know if they think, oh, I know Jim really well, so I'll just, I don't know if they're really just funny. They're trying to be funny, and they're just failing miserably at it, or they really truly believe that if they say that they've read this knockoff Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People, and they read it backwards or something. And so they think seriously that if I go up to this person and I tell them their product is crap unless they put something in it, that'll motivate them to put it in there. If they do seriously believe that, I think there should be this public service announcement that says, if you ever have an indication to go up to somebody in a show or online or whatever and say your product is crap unless you put this feature in it or whatever, just don't, right? Just put your pen down or get your hands off the keyboard and go somewhere and think about what you're about ready to say, because you will absolutely not get it. And So I think really the messaging is important. If people say, and sometimes, people have these ideas and they may even say, you know what, I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking out loud and I don't even know, this probably doesn't even make any sense. Well, those are the cool ones because there's no expectation you're going to put it in the product.
Right.
And sometimes they're intriguing enough for you to say, I wonder if you actually could do that. And so those are awesome. So I would say there's definitely a right way and a wrong way. And the right way is interesting, and the wrong way, as you describe, it's basically those people are just a pain in the rear. The other type of people that are also a pain in the rear are the ones that come in and they look at your product and they say, well, I wouldn't have built it that way. I would have, I would have done this, or I could have done the same thing with a microcontroller and a stick of bubble gum, right?
Yeah, and MacGyver.
Yeah, that's right. And
a paper clip.
Sometimes I've kind of lost my patience with those people and say, well, let me come over to your table and let me see your version of the product, right? And they're like, I didn't actually make one. I just am telling you that you could do it. And I'm like, listen, I don't want to hear about it, right? Right. I can guarantee you that this is the best way to implement this, or it is at least a good way to implement this product. And if you've got a better way to implement it, go have fun. In fact, you know what? My code is all, by definition, I make all my projects open source. Go grab the source code, change it to whatever you want to do, release it as your own product, have fun, right? Because they're armchair quarterbacking it, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want
to see the world burn.
That's true. So they do add a little bit of, I told John when I was doing my interview for CoCo podcast, and it's interesting because one of the reasons I wanted to come into another community is you can get kind of insulated if you're in just one community, and so you can think the whole world operates however your community operates, and that's not necessarily true. So obviously I was interested in the color computer, and I just gravitated. I knew there was CoCo Best. I knew there was some friends of mine who dabbled in the CoCo and whatnot. So as I kind of get into the community, it becomes very evident very quickly who the different personalities are, right? You've got these people who they think they know a lot about the product line, but they don't. But they that's their kind of they want to be seen as the Mr. Know-it-all or Mrs. Know-it-all of the product.
Sure.
Or you've got these people that they for some reason they are very sensitive to their status in the community, right? They have to be at the top of the community or whatever, and if they're not there, then they're gonna. It's like being back in high school, right? It's like, oh my goodness, this guy is not the most popular guy in school, and so he's going to talk down everybody else until he gets to be the most popular guy in school again. So it's just kind of interesting to see some of those personalities in this community, and then of course there's a lot of people that are just interesting personalities, but there's some of them that are kind of vindictive. Some of those personalities are kind of vindictive.
Interesting. Well,
David Ladd.
And hey, Jay, welcome to CoCoTALK After Dark, Jay.
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
We are not on the air, but we are recording. Yeah.
I didn't know if you guys were still on or not. So I figured
we're just getting started.
You got an all-star cast too, huh?
Yeah. So because you have experience with like the Commodore and other communities, what are they like, and what are there similar alpha males there? Like, are there the big, are there the big silverbacks of the Commodore community that beat their chests?
Oh, there are.
Okay.
Each community, like I said, I think it has. I mean, you could probably write down like a top 10 list of personalities, right? There's
the archetypes.
That's right. There are, and they exist in every one. I just kind of interesting to come into the community, be kind of a newbie, and you can kind of place, So I have kind of my nicknames for people in the CoCo community because they kind of map to people in other communities. Like, well, that's the that's the such and such of the CoCo community, right?
Sure. Kind of like David Ladd is the OS9 of podcast guests.
Yep.
I bet you they don't have a David Ladd.
right.
The Commodore community does not have a David Light. He's all ours. Although the way we treat him, he might just run over there.
There was someone that matched me, but I'm afraid to now.
There is. So.
Oh no!
There's a Shatner of the color computer world.
That's right. But I mean, yeah. What's really interesting is that in this community, I play a different role, right? So my role has changed because in the Commodore community, I'm seen as one of the Cloud Nines, right?
Okay.
It's a larger community than the CoCo community, so there's more than one, cloud.
Sure.
But I think I mentioned to somebody the other day that, when one of the VCF Midwest was going to happen, and I told Jason Timmons, I said, listen, I'm not going to be able to go that weekend to the Chicago show because my son's going to college, and it's his first year at college, and I need to go help him move in and kind of get that whole thing set up. And they were like, oh well, we can't, we got to have you at the show, so we'll move the show, right? We'll move it a week because
that's cool.
You're kind of one of our anchor stores, right? And I'm like, well, okay, whatever, right? I'm not necessarily wanting them to do that. They just did that, right? So in this community, though, I'm not the Cloud Nine because Mark Marlette has that, right? And so he's got these. So it's kind of interesting because in the juxtaposition where I get to come in and be the kind of young whippersnapper, learning how it all works out, hardware designer, and here's this well-established hardware manufacturer that's already in the community, and they have all this immediate, they have immediate credibility and whatnot, whereas I don't have that.
Sure.
And so it's kind of interesting to see how that works out, and it's also kind of interesting to compare myself to Mark when Mark and I converse, because it's like, well, in the Commodore community, would I say what Mark says to people that are coming up to my table? People who are young upstart hardware designers, or would I interact with the community the same way that Mark does, or do I interact with the community the same way Mark does in my other community? So it's just kind of interesting to see and kind of rate yourself based on being able to kind of step out of your own role and see yourself in a different light.
Sure.
Do they have the pissing contest like we do in the CoCo community?
I think every community. I mean, Fords, Chevys, EMM, BI. I mean, I think every one of them does. There's lots of stories. I'm sure you probably guys aren't interested in it, but there's lots of these kind of things that happen in the Commodore community and or have in the past. And the thing is I think they're even more amplified because like it or not, some of the communities are larger than other communities. So there's considerable amount of money, maybe not enough to generate an income on, but there's a significant amount of money that can be made on bringing retro Commodore products to market. But there's different ways of doing that, right? In this community, I don't see a lot of people creating and selling on eBay replicas of the Orchestra 90 cartridge or the FDC cartridge. I think somebody's re-engineered the FDC cartridge and whatnot, but you don't see a lot of people bringing like a disto board, a reproduction disto board to the market. But that disto board looks exactly like the original disto board. It's like they took all the parts off the board, they photocopied the front and the back, they made new PCB, or they made new printed circuit boards, and they just put all the same parts on the board, and they're selling it as sometimes they sell it as a reproduction, and sometimes they sell it as new old stock.
Oh, wow.
So if you go on eBay right now and you look at if you just look in the Commodore Arena, you can see all these cartridges that did different things in the day, and some people will advertise them as, well, I found these and they're in really good shape. Well, the people who are in the know in the community know that that's just not true. Those people went out, they got one of the cartridges, they cloned it exactly, right down to the artwork on the PCB, and they're just selling them as brand new. They're reproductions, and they're selling them. There's intellectual property rights. They're tromping on. There's there's copyrights. There's patent. whatever it is, copyrights for sure,
Right.
and they're just walking right over that. And so there's a number of those people in the community, in that community anyway, that do that on a day-to-day basis. And so there's this additional ethics kind of component.
Wow.
Where people will sell, for instance, all kinds of games on a cartridge that are copyrighted, and the companies that own those copyrights are still in business. Activision,
Wow.
Electronic Arts, some of the other companies. They'll sell the game, and when you ask them, they're like, "Well, they don't care about it. I can put them on the chip and put it in there anyway."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Okay, well, until they come and start yelling at you."
Right. You know, and I noticed that the ColecoVision there's a bunch of new brew games for the ColecoVision, and a lot of them are basically clones of arcade games that they're selling. And you know, I think that's an extremely, I don't even think that's a gray area. I think that's a black area and the black and white of intellectual property. But they're selling copies of Galaxian because it's a new brew that somebody had to rewrite for the ColecoVision. But you rewrote somebody else's game, you know, or ported it because it's using the same Z80 code or something.
Are they actually calling it Galaxian?
Yeah. Galaxian.
Yeah,
they didn't change the name.
That's where they went wrong. That's where they went wrong.
Yeah. They're not selling it as a clone. They're selling it as Galaxian and Miss Pac-Man and things like that. So it's like that's where I have a moral issue with, and I don't want to funnel money to somebody who is kind of cross that line. You know, I don't mind supporting somebody who's developing an original something, but I do have a problem with somebody trying to capitalize on a copyright, you know.
Hey Jim, do you get a chance to look at that piece of text that I posted?
So where did you post it? I said step
in
away
the,
from it. So
that's right, in the messenger, just in the IM chat part.
Okay.
I don't see it here, Jay.
I don't
see it.
I don't see it. No.
Really? It shows in my window.
I'm happy to look at it.
Let me see if I can figure it out. Hang on. For some reason, I am having trouble with you guys. Oh, you know what? I gotta hit the send button.
It does.
There, try that now.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, it was in my window.
Okay, so let's see what you're doing here.
Oh, you got spaces between the plus and the 1,000.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because the space is a delimiter. The space is a delimiter. It's just like a tab. So you got your screen, your screen 2 space equals space green. Then it should be that screen plus $1,000. No spaces.
So no spaces whatsoever.
No spaces between the screen plus and the 1,000. Because a space is the same as a delimiter. Basically, it's treating the plus and the 1,000 as a comment. Because you have 4 columns. Your first column's the label, second column's the instruction, the third column's your parameter, and your fourth column's the comments. So basically, your plus is the start of the comments.
Yeah, and that makes sense then, because that's the way it was treating it. Okay.
So
I feel dumb now, but at least I figured it out.
No, that's awesome.
I'm very happy I was able to help you.
So
cool. Okay. Well, now I know
Assembly
that.
wasn't designed for readability.
Yeah, apparently not. No, I just like I said, when I've done other programming in the past, I just always do that, just make it look better or easier to read.
Yes,
and later.
You know what? And when you graduate to C, you better put those spaces back in.
Yeah.
Well, I have purposely avoided C my entire life. So
and is that technically a graduation, or is it really is a step back?
You know what? We should do that. You should that's what you should have on the record. Jim says, when you all get done with your ASM machine language discussions and you can move and you can graduate to C, let's chat.
I think, to be honest,
you're ready for the big leagues.
Did you guys see Rick's response? Wow, like you dumbass. That's awesome.
Wow. Wow, just wow. And by the time he saw it, by the time he said take the spaces out, we had already figured that out. And of course, then he chimes in saying, "I'm a genius." He's a late genius, but a genius nonetheless. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Original Gamer Stevie Stroh, and welcome to a brand new segment of the show that we call the Pandering segment. And this is where we ask you to help support our efforts by checking out our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com, where you can grab yourself a coffee mug like this, or maybe like this, or maybe one of the even cool new deluxe travel mugs, possibly even a DVD featuring some gameplay goodness. All of the proceeds that we get from the Retro Swag Shop go right back into the production and hosting costs of the show, as well as compensating the artist Joel Adams, who designs all these cool things for us. So consider supporting our endeavors by picking yourself up a piece of merchandise from 8bit256.com. On top of that, if you'd really like to help out the show on a long-term basis, we've got a brand new Patreon site where you can support us with regular contributions, and you can visit us there at patreon.com/OGStevieShow. However, we'll keep it real simple. Visit us on the web at CoCoTALK.live, and you can get all the information there. And while you're there, why not send us an email to CoCoTALK@CoCoTALK.live. We'd love to hear some feedback from you, some suggestions for future show ideas and topics, and maybe even submit a segment or bumper yourself. This show wouldn't be anything without you, and we appreciate all of your support.
Every day, a color computer is abandoned or abused. They live in the dark recesses of garages, basements, storage sheds, barns, and attics, waiting for someone to help. Hi, I'm Helen Bleeding Heart. Please say you'll be the answer for CoCo suffering the effects of extreme temperature, overexposure to ultraviolet light, and conditions unfit for electronics. These CoCos need your help. Please call 888-6883 or go online and join the Color Computer Preservation Society with a monthly gift right now. For just $18 a month, you can rescue CoCos from their abusive environments, provide repair of damaged parts, administer retro bright treatments, and most of all, provide love. Call or sign up online in the next 30 minutes, and we'll send you a photo of a CoCo being lovingly reconditioned by the CCPS. And you'll receive this beautiful tote bag that declares, "I saved a CoCo." Yours for your generous, perpetual monthly gift. This is your chance to say, "I won't sit by while a CoCo is wasting away." Please, won't you call or go online right now?
All right, nothing like overproducing a show. Welcome to CoCoTALK, everybody. What episode is this? Are we on 25 now? I'm losing track.
25.
I think we're on 25. Wow, we're old enough now to get a discount on our automobile insurance at this point, so that's pretty good.
Quarter century old.
Quarter of a century. And we've got a nice little turnout today for CoCoTALK episode 25, so I'll just go around the room here. We have Mark Overholzer with us. Hello, Mark. We have Bill Noble from the Great White North. We have Richard Cavell from the UK. We've got Glenn Hewlett from somewhere in Canada. We have host of the CoCo Crew podcast, John W. Linville. We have Ron's Garage of fame and fortune, Ron Delvaux is here. We have King of the Floppy, David Ladd is with us. We have the lovely and talented Grant Leedy, and last but certainly not least, L. Curtis Boyle, and the L stands for Let's Get It On. Going now. Anyways, I was trying to open this while we played a commercial to save time, but it turns out this frickin' thing is wrapped. This is like a prank, and so I figured it's actually now going to be more entertaining for you guys to sit here and watch me try to open this bloody thing, because I've ripped, I've shredded, I've tried to find a place to cut with scissors. I don't know what's inside here, so I'm afraid to stab it too deep, which is what she said. And so this is from our friend Brian Joyce in Australia. And so, you know, friend of the show, part of the show. The package came in today while we're doing the show, so why not see what Brian has sent from Australia? Problem is opening this package is turning out to be quite the challenge. And I'm just afraid to break the box or what's inside it, because I literally don't know what's inside it, and I'm hoping this is all appropriate for, you know, a family-friendly show at this point. As I go to
it's been sealed for your protection.
Steve, we can't see it.
You can't
All
see
I
it.
see is the demo.
Us on the panel can't see it.
Is my screen sharing not working right now?
All we're seeing is a graphics demo.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on Skype. We can see it on the YouTube.
Now we can see you.
Now you can see me. Okay. Yep. So yeah, well, so here's the box. I'm still trying to open the damn box. All right, we're getting there. We are getting here. So Brian Joyce basically has pranked me by giving me an unopenable package here. I think we're getting here. Oh, wow. Okay, we're getting here. We're getting here, people.
In an unrelated note, there's a tape shortage in Australia now.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so this is cute. Okay, here's two koala bears hugging each other with an Australian flag. And they say, okay, this one here says, Australia, I love Australia. On the back of the one here, it says, so we've got these two koala bears hugging each other with Australian flags that say I love Australia, and they're red and green. So that's kind of cute. Thank you for that, Brian. So that's one keepsake. Oh, my wife is going to love this. I told him that my wife collects shot glasses, and this is a shot glass from this. Hey, baby!
Oh, nice.
Baby! Come here! So I'll show her that when she comes in. All right, what else do we got in here? Ooh, oh snap! Oh my God, this is something that says "OG Stevie" on it, proudly made for you. But is this Vegemite? Okay,
Vegemite.
We're happy little Vegemites. Yeah, I've got a thing of Vegemite. What does this shit smell like? I don't know. We're gonna open it up right now and find out.
You're not gonna like it.
No, it's unpleasant.
I got you a shot glass from Australia.
Oh, okay.
My wife has her Australian shot glass now. And I got Vegemite, baby, with my name on it. What do you think of that?
If I knew what Vegemite was.
You know the song from Land Down Under? You gave me a bite of my Vegemite sandwich. It's something to eat in Australia. It's like vegetable frickin' peanut butter.
It's a version of self-torture in Australia is what I call it. But,
Okay, I got a couple more of these little koala bears hugging each other. That's kind of cute. So Vegemite with my name on it. How many people can say they have that? I don't know. Oh, another shot glass. Oh, two more shot glasses.
Oh, damn. No.
Another Australian shot glass. Look at that. Australia with the different areas. Nice. All right, good eye, Australia. Another Australian shot glass.
It's Australia.
All right, another Australian shot glass. I love Oz. There's an Australia. I love Oz. That's cool. Very cool.
I was wondering if that was about Ozzy Osbourne, but okay.
Yeah. Oh man, another freaking shot glass. Holy crap! All right, another shot glass. It's got the Australian map on it, and all kinds of little creatures. It's got a dolphin and a boomerang and a what do you call those things that jump up and down? The kangaroo, right? Holy crap! And the shot glasses just won't stop. Here's another shot glass. Look at this, Australia. Like, oh, that's got like the outback in it, and it's got a dude with thingamajiggy, right? He's throwing a boomerang, and there's a koala bear out there and a frickin' kangaroo, and it looks like they're cooking David Ladd over the fire there. If you can look at that real quick. So, yeah.
I think Steve's an alcoholic.
That glass is just full of stereotypes.
Yeah, every Australian stereotype there is. And here's another one of all these different animals on the Australian map. I think they're animals, yeah.
I think Australia's a dry country now because they sent you all their drinking implements.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So just a ton of shot glasses. And I got not one, not two, but 3 sets of these little koala bears that say, I love Australia. So here you go.
He loves you.
Oh, you can put them on every one of those shot glasses.
Yeah, right. You can put them on the shot glasses and make them hug the shot glasses if you want. Very
it's
cool.
like you've got a lot of drinking to do.
Yeah, and yeah, so opening that up was like, I mean, it was just like, that thing was like taped and double taped and quadruple taped, and it was insane.
He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich.
Hi, this is Randy Kindig of the Floppy Days podcast. I just love me some CoCo, and nobody covers it better than Steve Strobridge. You're listening to CoCoTALK.
We're traveling through a dimension both of sound and ideas. We're at a place where the mind can comprehend and devise a solar radio, a wireless transmitter, measure time and light. 65 electronic projects brought to reality with this science fair kit. Astonishing? Perhaps. But you can find it for Christmas for $17.95 in a place that's known as Radio Shack.
Radios, stereos, recorders, everything in sound.
Picture, if you will. Love that commercial. Love that.
I hadn't seen that one
commercial.
before. That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So, closing thoughts, I'd like to say once again, I am thankful for the color computer community. I'm thankful for everybody who has donated their time and energy to not only be a part of the show every week, but to also, most recently, we're having a lot of planning and production meetings. Just coming up with ideas to improve the show and just to fine-tune it. So I'm thankful for everybody who's a part of it, both on the panel and in the audience. And so thank you all for that. It literally warms my heart that we have people who are this interested in what we're doing here, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and I'd like to express my gratitude to Steve here for all the improvements he's done that you can even see on the screen right now, like the bug in the corner that if you're just watching a podcast later on, you'll know exactly what episode you're on, what date it was from, the title of the show, in case you forgot. And just, you know, going through all the turmoil of getting your bandwidth problems fixed by having to switch to a different internet service provider, but that seems to have resolved itself. And then you've got a lot of other stuff that you didn't have time to finish for this episode, but there's a lot of work you're putting into it, and I think we all appreciate that.
Yes, very much so.
And although here in Australia we don't have Thanksgiving's Day, I'll pass my thanks as well to the entire CoCo community, which has been supporting the work of a lot of other people in the community who are creating products. I mean, in my case, I did the Popstar pilot, so I'm very thankful for the support I've had of all the people who purchased it. But we're seeing a trend where there's more people coming out creating programs or software, creating hardware, and the CoCo community is showing their support by showing an interest and buying it or whatever. So I think overall, thanks to the entire CoCo community for supporting the community itself. It helps it grow, it makes it healthy, and it just grows. I've been seeing on the Facebook group there's a lot of new CoCo users out there, or CoCo users who people who used to have a CoCo have found Steve's this website, this live chat, and discovered the Facebook and just see the enthusiasm that the entire community is putting towards it. So thanks to the community.
Agreed.
But it's still a Windows-based machine.
It's still a Windows-based machine, yes. Yeah, I'm not going to put OS 9 on it.
Why not, Steve?
It'd be a big improvement.
But, all right, so I'm done running my big fat mouth. Anybody got anything they want to close with before we get out of here? Because my stomach's killing me right now. So.
Now I think I'm all good.
All right, well, I guess we will wrap up this week's CoCoTALK. I want to thank everybody who's here now and those of us who were with us before, who kind of came and went. And always something good to talk about when we have CoCoTALK here. So that's nice. Even when we don't have a big plan, things happen, and that's a beautiful thing. So
we have plans?
I thought we just come with this stuff right out of our touche.
Yeah. Somebody named Fart Power stopped by for a bit, had nothing redeeming to say, so we kicked Fart Power out. Mark Overholzer was in here.
Well, I had something good to say.
At least Mark had something good to say. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, are we gonna wrap it up then? Have we beat this one to death?
Isn't that trademarked by the CoCo Crew podcast?
I think we're lifting each other up. And I'll leave it on that. On that dead silence. I'm waiting for the crickets to stop.
No, crickets moved into your room.
Yes. All right. So have we beat this one to death? So have we beat episode 21 to death, or does anybody got anything else they want to throw out there before we wrap this up? Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So have we beat this conversation to death?
Never.
God bless you all.
Yes. God bless us, everyone.
And David.
I'm never going to not be picked on, am I?
Don't worry, David. The day will come when you will be able to get back.
David,
I already told Steve. Wait for
you said that this year too, you pansy. So
hey, David, there's none of that kind of talk in the magazine.
Yeah, David's gonna put a Trojan horse in this Nitrous 9 build, and he's gonna screw us all. In the live chat, we had Adult Dating for Sex, our sponsor. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up CoCoTALK, episode 39. Any closing holiday thoughts there for the people at home?
Yep.
Just a Merry Christmas to everybody.
And a Happy New
Merry
Year.
Christmas. Yeah, happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you for watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at CoCoTalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live. If you love the color computer like we do, then visit imacoconut.com for all your color computer needs. Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, we'd love for you to visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/OGStevieStroh. CoCoTALK would not exist without the community, its cast, and crew. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Rick Adams, Ron Delvaux, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Nick Morentis, Karen Anscombe, Simon Jonason, Wayne Campbell, Steve Batson, John Strong, and Barry Nelson. Special thanks to Steve Bjork for production suggestions. Stay on target, everyone. Please help support the color computer community by visiting some of its contributors. The CoCo Crew podcast at cococrew.org. Glenside Color Computer Club, host of CoCo Fest at glensideccc.com. Jim Brain and Retro Innovations at go4retro.com. Tandy Assembly at tandyassembly.com. Cloud9 Technologies at cloud9tech.com. Boyson Technologies at boyson.com.